Welcome to Drawing with Grandma here at A Touch of Blue Studio. Today we are going to start another sketch in our sketchbook of another animal, but I want you to try to figure out what it is I'm drawing. I'm going to start with some shadowed areas right in the middle of the top of this animal's head and see if you can figure it out. I'm going to try to use dark shades and then do a line down the center of his head to try to establish symmetry because he's looking straight at me. And I wouldn't want to meet this fella in a dark alley, but he's gorgeous from a distance. So what I'm doing is I'm establishing that line down the middle of his head because his fur actually is dark and that creates this natural line. And so it does help me when I'm drawing him and animals with that natural fur line. And so this guy has a lot of symmetry, which makes him a little easier today because I can draw this large oval and then do that center line. So if you're drawing along with me, go ahead and start that by placing the head shape and then placing his eyes halfway down. So now you can tell that it's a lion. And so his muzzle is long and lean, and those puffy little cheek areas are something I need to probably fix a little bit, but I'm going to get the overall placement of the head and features, and then I'll go back and do some corrections. So there's patches that I want to draw dark to kind of help establish my value structure, but I generally want to draw lightly as I get the shapes placed. And then I can easily erase and make the corrections that I want. So that would be my advice to you as you're developing drawings in your sketchbook, is to draw lightly. See how I'm drawing with the side of the pencil and not the point? That kind of helps to do broader strokes, but they are easily erasable because they are not sharp points into the paper. And I can manipulate them and lighten them with the eraser. And so I would recommend that you learn to draw a little bit with the side of the pencil and allow just some practice with that. We do write with the point of a pencil, and when you want sharp lines, then of course you want to use the pencil upright, like I'm doing now. So I'm doing some stronger lines, and so I'm holding it a different way. But when I want to do a lot of broad shading, I will turn the pencil on its side and use the broader lead flat. Okay, so I have some of the structure done. Now I'm going to go in and kind of place in some of the patterns of the dark areas in his fur that help to give him form. I'm going to erase out some things that aren't correct. Oh, I think I really need to reshape this nose and the muzzle, so I'm going to work a little bit at that, those whisker areas and that center line of his nose, those nostrils. And so we will get there. It's really gradual. Sometimes I don't like the drawing in the middle of the process, and then I gradually make changes and fix it, and it helps to be patient with the process. So sometimes you might think, oh, it doesn't look good, but give it time and work with it, and then you may end up liking your drawing after you've worked with it for a while. So now I'm getting some of the dark fur behind his muzzle there. The muzzle is the nose, and then at the very base of where the mane starts at his lighter face, it's dark, and then it gradually gets lighter to the tips of the hairs of the mane. So I'm trying to get that effect. So it'll take some time, and again I'm using the side of the pencil now, and it helps me to cover the paper a little bit faster. He's such a beautiful animal. There's a lot of variations of dark to light, so I want to try to get that effect. So that helps to use an eraser to kind of lighten up any whiskers and hairs that I want to do, and to get the form. I don't think I'm going to add color to this one, but maybe later on in another lesson I will do a lion in color. This one I think I will keep as a little portrait in graphite pencil. So come back to this lesson and try to develop it. It's not as difficult as it might look. And one reason is because it's symmetrical, that it's a good practice to do both sides the same and to see the measurements of both sides of the head as being similar. So that helps with the structure. So I'm going to try to finish this up by getting the dark areas solid. I'm going to work on some individual blocks of hair. Of course, you're not going to get every single hair in the mane, but you can give the suggestion of shapes of areas of hair, which helps to kind of get that feel of that fluffy mane and to create some of that illusion. Now I think I'm just going to finish him up as a little study and just work on some of those darker patches and call it a day. Those nostrils need a little bit of clarification there. That little mouth, he has a little lip underneath. There's some patterns above his eyes that need a little bit more interesting marks and defining. And that separation of the bridge of his nose to the rest of his snout. A little bit of hair. And there he is, just a little sketch. I hope you will give it a try today. Thank you for joining me today with Drawing with Grandma here at A Touch of Blue Studio.